boy, am I glad that was the last national TV game for the Chicago Bears. What is going on, y'all? Faiz back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears and their blowout loss to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football, 41-25. So, before I do get started, guys, if you're new to the channel and you are somehow still, after what's transpired over the last weeks, if you're still a Bears fan, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to follow me on my social media because I do live tweet. And boy, was I live tweeting during that game. Make sure you do all that, folks. But, yeah. I'm not depressed. I'm just disappointed. But we'll talk about it. Let's get into it. So, there's a lot of places I could start. But let me just start by saying that, like I mentioned, I'm not sad or depressed. A little disappointed, sure, but folks, we've been seeing this for weeks now with the Bears, so I should really expect it. You know, there was the initial anger a few weeks ago, and now it's just acceptance at this point. Acceptance for what this team is and what this team isn't. Okay? So, we can start in a lot of places. I'll start with the offense, like I usually do, and I'll start with the quarterback, because I'm sure that is where everybody wants me to start, because, again, this was the major change for the Bears coming into this game, is we went back to Mitchell Trubisky. All right, so Mitchell Trubisky, again, if you just box score watched, had an okay game, right? 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 26 for 46, 242 yards, but Mitchell Trubisky was not good. He was not good today. But let me stop there and say this. Before I dive deeper into Mitch, 2 things can be true, and people don't think that's the case. All right? Everyone wants everything to be black or white, but there's a thing called a gray area. So, let me explain. Mitchell Trubisky was bad today. Was he still better than Nick Foles for this offense? Yes. Is Mitchell Trubisky still a bad quarterback? Yes. Is this Bears offense still bad even with Mitch over Nick Foles? Yes. Okay? So that's what I mean by 2 things, or in this case, multiple things can be true. Because you'll be like, Faiz, how can you say Mitch didn't play well today, but then say he's better than Nick Foles? Yes, he played better than Nick Foles for this offense. He absolutely did. But he still didn't play well overall, folks. Okay? Let's talk about the interceptions. Let's talk about the turnovers. Okay? The first pick. This one was, again, mind-boggling like the other ones was. But, man, you're throwing deep, taking a shot into double coverage. Not even close. I don't know, like, if Darnell Mooney stopped running on the route or Mitch just over, like, not even close. That's just a bad throw, bad decision. I don't know what he saw there, just a bad throw, flat out. And that one hurt a lot because even though it was early in the game, the Bears offense looked like it had some momentum, right? You had Aaron Rodgers go down and score, but then you had the Bears' first drive start out really well with Monty popping off a huge run. And then Mitch actually threw a dime to A-Rob. A-Rob should have came down with it. And again, like has been the case most of the year, he's been manhandled on those catches. And we had to settle for a field goal. But that was progress because the Bears got points on that drive, right? And then the Packers scored again. And the Bears come back and Mitch just throws it away. And it just felt like the Bears never recaptured that momentum. Then the Packers scored again. And believe you me, I'm going to get to the defense because I keep saying the Packers scored because that's exactly what ended up happening. Okay? So, the second turnover was the fumble, right? The fumble and then recovered by the Packers for the score. Now, should Mitch have fumbled? Absolutely not. That was on Mitch. But was there a penalty on that play? Absolutely. Not 1, but 2 face masks. 2 face mask penalty absolutely should have been called. That should not have been a touchdown. That one hurt. Even my friends, some of them who are Packers fans admit that. That was a missed call. Like, this is not a biased thing here. Like, oh my God, the Bears got screwed, the Packers, this and that. No, that was an objectively bad call. All right. And I know a lot of other people have pointed out that, Kevin King, I believe, punched Darnell Mooney, or what it looked like, punched him. Well, just to go back to talking to my Packers buddies, they said that it was essentially Kevin King trying to punch the football, and it looked like he tried to swing at Darnell Mooney. Again, it looked bad in the angle. I'm not sure, but again, that looked like it should have been called. So again, a couple of bad misses by the refs. Definitely. But I'm telling you right now, even still with that, the refs were not the reason the Bears lost that game. Just want to keep that perspective there. So second, turnover, absolutely should not have fumbled that, but the face mask penalty was missed, and that should not have been points for the Packers. That should have been a punt. Then the third interception. This one was another head scratcher. He throws into triple coverage. So not just triple coverage, as if, Mitch is the gunslinger we all know and not love. Like Brett Favre. He thought he was Brett Favre, just thrown into triple coverage, and it was for Anthony Miller on the left side. It gets picked. And again, a drive killer. Not sure what he was thinking there, but A-Rob was open, and Mitch tried to get cute again. So the decision-making was awful. And this is what we've known for Mitchell Trubisky. His two biggest flaws have been accuracy and decision-making, all right? Accuracy-wise, he was bad because of the picks, but then decision-making-wise, he was bad because of where he threw it. So both of those things came into fruition today, and they have confirmed to you, which I've already told you, that Mitchell Trubisky is not the answer long-term for the Bears, okay? There was already a long shot for him to return after this season. He's going to be a free agent. The Bears will let him go. But for whatever that sliver of hope was, whatever that 1 to 5% you want to say of what would it take for Mitch to come back and the Bears to give him maybe a franchise tag, because it wouldn't have been a contract extension, but for even that 5% chance, went out the window. That's the thing. Mitchell Trubisky is a number 2 overall pick. We don't need to give him, or should be giving him, credit for making routine throws. That's a number 2 overall pick. So he gets graded on a different curve. And I've been Mitch's biggest supporter, and I'm telling you that. So you don't expect a number 2 overall pick to be okay and make the dumb mistakes and just say, no, it's not the case. He's not an undrafted free agent. He's a number 2 overall pick. The expectations are different, and he just hasn't lived up to them. Look, it is what it is, folks. The sooner you come to the acceptance, the quicker you can fix the problem. Let's stop talking about the problem, and let's try to fix it now. Now we got to think about solutions. So, again, the long-term answer at quarterback is not on this roster. It is not Mitchell Trubisky. It damn sure is not Nick Foles. It's not on the roster. So we'll fix that. We'll hopefully figure that out. But it's just not. So with Mitchell Trubisky, again, whether or not he's going to remain the starter for the next 5 games or Matt Nagy goes back to Nick Foles, it really doesn't matter at this point. But he's just not the long-term starter. I feel for him. I really do. But the same tendencies and mistakes have kept coming up. And even when I told you that he got benched too quickly, I even said at that time, go back and watch the tape, that he should have never put himself in the position to get benched. So even though the offense looked better with Mitch than Nick Foles, it's still not good enough long-term. Mitch Trubisky is still not good enough long-term, and the Bears are going to be looking for a new quarterback, as they should. It's a sad reality, folks, but it is what it is. We all want the better for this team, and that is the state of the Bears in terms of the quarterback position. As far as the rest of the offense, one positive, David Montgomery had a monster game, his best game of the year. Right, over 100 rushing yards, just looked explosive. Finally, Monty hit the damn hole. That's what he did. Did you see on that first rush where he just hit the damn hole? It wasn't dancing behind the line at the line of scrimmage. Hit the hole, Monty. So David Montgomery had a good game, as he should have, against a very, very bad Packers run defense. So I like that, all right? The rest of the offense, A-Rob, wish he would have came down with that first catch. Should have been a touchdown, but otherwise he's a stud. We know that. Darnell Mooney still looked good. Oh, Jimmy Graham finally got like quasi benched for what am I saying? Cole Kmet. About damn time, right? I told you that was a bad investment in free agency. And I've proven to be right about that. Should have never signed Jimmy Graham and then drafted Cole Kmet, Anthony Miller, whatever. So again, as far as the skill level players, David Montgomery was the best one by far today. All right, let's talk about the defense. Let's switch over to the defense. So I know everybody wants to talk about how bad the defense was. This was the Bears' worst game on the defensive end by far. By far. Every time the Packers had the ball, like they were just moving the ball down with ease. Just boom, 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 boom. Oh, A-Rod's like, you want a touchdown? You want a touchdown? You want a touchdown? Robert Tonyan, got you. Devontae. All right. Who else wants a touchdown? I got you. That's what Aaron Rodgers is doing, pretty much. And I think it's an understatement to say this Bears defense missed Akeem Hicks because the middle of that defense was just opening up holes for Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams to run all over. So, look, there's just no way around it. The defense was bad in all phases, all right? No pass rush. You couldn't tackle, right? The receivers had too much space. You're putting Devontae Adams on Buster Screen. He's getting burnt left and right. He's literally toast, like toasted. Devontae Adams just toasted Buster Screen, had him for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, what are you doing, all right? The defense was just awful. But I say all that to say this. I don't want to be too harsh. I'm not going to be the guy who comes and says, oh my God, the Bears defense needs to just absolutely apologize for that performance and Chip Pagano needs to go and every defensive coach needs to be fired. No. Folks, the NFL is a very, 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 very difficult league and you're allowed to have some off weeks. As long as you've been performing. This defense has been performing all season long. Did they have an off day? Yes. Would I have liked it to not come today? Yes. But it is what it is. They had an off day. I don't want to be too harsh on them. They absolutely should have been better. We all know that. But I'm not here to say, oh, it's time for Chuck Pagano to go. It's time for this defense to just, go like we need to rebuild, etc. This defense had an off day. Aaron Rodgers had an off day against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Go look at that game. He couldn't move the football. So everybody has an off day in this league. As long as you consistently perform, you're okay. And that's why I'm not going to be hard on this defense because they had all these weeks where they performed so well. The offense didn't. The 1 week, maybe the offense sort of moved the football. And now you want to say the defense lost it? No. The Bears lost this game on both sides, the offense and defense, okay? The defense obviously played really bad, but the offense wasn't that great at all either, all right? So, again, that's where I'm at with the defense. They should have been better, but I'm not going to get on them because, again, they have been consistently performing all season long, and they had an off day. Now let's get to the question everybody wants to talk about. What's the future, right? Faiz, we got about 5 games left. What am I looking forward to? What is the reason to even watch Bears game at this point? Hear me out. Look, we know I've been telling you guys that Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace are on the hot seat. And the seat, if it wasn't already hot, it's probably burning right now. It's on fire. And you know that after another national TV embarrassment, the McCaskies are probably calling Ryan Pace. Ryan Pace probably calling Matt Nagy. And they're saying, what the heck? Like, how long is this going to continue here? Like, I need some answers. So, if you don't have answers, people lose their jobs. And we're seeing this all over the NFL, right? The Lions fired Matt Patricia and the general manager, Bob Quinn. The Jaguars fired their GM. So, I can tell you this assuredly. The Bears won't fire Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace during the season. They will let them finish out the season. I believe they will. All right? So, don't expect that. But, I'm telling you this right now. Why should we watch the Bears game? Because I'll tell you why. Because we're a Bears fan, first and foremost. But number 2, win or lose, we have something to look forward to, right? So if the Bears win, great. The Bears win. We're happy, right? But if we lose, that's more pressure on Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace in this front office and the ownership to make changes, right? I've been telling you, I'm ready to move on from Matt Nagy. I'm ready to move on from Ryan Pace. It's a performance business. I'm sorry, right? Just like I'm ready to move on from Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles, I'm ready to move on from these guys. So what is there to look forward to? It's to look forward to a new front office, a new management, a new regime coming in, because the more the Bears lose games, that will happen. Now, do I think the Bears are actively going to tank? No, I don't. We've won too many games for that. The Jets have no wins on the season. We are not catching up to them. So there's no point in tanking. They will try to win games. But point is, if they lose games, it's only good because it puts more pressure on these guys. So I'm not having or expecting any sort of hope from this team anymore. We know it's clear. It's a broken team, specifically a broken offense, and now a broken defense, apparently. If this continues, the defense is broken too, and maybe they've given in. But, folks, I'm telling you right now, let's start thinking about the future. All right, let's start thinking about Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace getting canned, because, you know, if the more we lose, the closer that happens. But for the most part, folks, like I said, it comes to a point where you're just over it. You're just over it at this point, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm only looking at the guys that I want to keep on this roster, you know, Darnell Mooney, A-Rob, of course, maybe Monty, Cole Kmet, because he really hasn't played a lot of snaps, you know, Whitehair, Daniels, Jalen Johnson, except you get my point here, right? You can watch these games to see what guys need to stay on, and of course, when we get some new front office and regime. So I think it will happen. Let's just wait for it, folks. But there you have, folks. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree. It's tough right now, but hang in there. Nothing worth having in life comes easy. Don't mean to get all philosophical on you, but folks, it's tough. It's tough, all right? Only one team wins the Super Bowl every year. Just saying. As always, thanks for watching.